Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Strawberry Sundaes podcast. We have the man, myth, legend Smurfy with us today. How are
Hey.
we?
I'm very good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. We'll get straight into it. We won't keep the viewers waiting any longer.
Let's do it.
So if you want to get into it, just tell us a bit about yourself for people in the chat that may not know who you are.
Cool. So I'm Smurfy, otherwise known as Jack. I'm the owner and founder of Team Delirium, and I'm a graphic designer.
There we
Um,
have it.
yeah.
So we'll go right back to the start. Start from the beginning and get a little timeline going. So when was it sort of that you started getting into gaming?
Um, what, just casually or competitively, or
Yeah,
just
casually we'll start with.
casually? Well, my first console was probably a PS1. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was PS1 when I was about, I don't know, 6 or 7. Um, Used to play like Spyro, Rayman, like Crash Bandicoot, them sorts of games.
Yeah.
And then from there, obviously went to like PS2, and that's just all your classic PS2 games really. And then 360 when I was about like 10, 9 or 10, used to play like Halo 3, Saints Row 1, that sort of thing. And then I got into like COD, so like COD 4, World at War, and yeah.
Is that where you said like you mentioned competitive? Is that where that sort of sprouted from when as soon as you got
Yeah,
into Call of
so
Duty? Or
when I went to secondary school, one of the boys I met in year 7, he was into game battles.
mm,
And he was like to me, oh yeah, like what you play COD? And I was like, yeah, I wasn't very good at all. And he was like, cool, add me when you get home and we'll play. And he 1v1 me on shipment. I remember it. He had total beaches. I don't know what they were. And I wasn't even using dead silence. So he just like slapped me, like, didn't get a kill. And I was like, how does he know where I'm coming from all the time? And he was like, oh yeah, I have this headset. Like I played this website called Game Battles. Got into it from there really. And yeah, just like playing with the school friends. And then because of that, I was really into like, the GFX. I wanted my page to look cool. And my friend who
mm.
got me into it, he actually made graphics. He was alright. He was alright. He wasn't great, but I used to always ask him, yo, can you make me like a graphic for my page? And he always just said, yeah, but never did. So I just thought, fuck it,
mm.
I'll teach myself. And then just, yeah, taught myself. And here I am still making them like 10, 11 years later.
So was that for like the old school? Because it was like YouTube banners, wasn't it, back in the day? Is that what?
No, it's more just like game battles, like signature on your game
Yeah.
battles profile. You have like SIGs down like the side, obviously like your avatar, your profile pic, then like team logos, and there was like big players in the EU like Downey and America and stuff, and you'd go to their game battles pages and you'd comment because they people used to go every day to their page and comment saying like looking for a team or looking for graphics. So I'd comment saying like, yo, I'm making graphics, hit me up, and then people would inbox me and word got about, and yeah, I just stuck at it.
Mad, mad how sort of like gaming can get sort of that growth to sort of where you are now. Like I said, I
Yeah,
think everyone
definitely.
had that one friend that used to play game battles and got them into it back in the day. Did you watch it at all? Did you watch like
Mm.
competitive when you got into it or?
Yeah, well, I didn't watch the Americans too much. It was like Black Ops 1 Mod 3. Um,
Mm,
I started watching like Deserter and stuff. I used to play Deserter, which was like an equivalent website to Game Battles. So I used to watch all like like Tommy, Swanee, Mudcat, Jerd, all like the European pros.
yeah.
And I wanted to go LAN. I was like 14, and I really wanted to go LAN. I made the team. I actually made my first org when I was 14. Yeah, I say org. It was just like a team really, but had like a
Yeah.
website and a logo and stuff. And it was actually called Empire, like Dallas Empire. Um, and yeah, so teamed with like two of my good friends who are now like footballers. Well, one of them is, one quit, and just like another like long-term friend. And we were pretty trash, but it was just fun, man. Just like playing scrims and stuff after school, watching. Yeah, I used to watch streams. Twitch wasn't really popping really then. It was more just like YouTube content. Used to watch
Mm.
like Guitarga and just yeah, people uploading scrims and like full maps and Vanity One Day Cups and like things like that. So yeah. Used to watch it a little bit.
See, back in the day, I was more into the like the montages and things like that.
Oh yeah, don't get it twisted. I used to watch Montages too because a lot of my friends, so a few of my school friends were like game battles orientated and like competitive
Mm.
esports. It was quite underground and like not very cool. And then the other side was like trick shotting and quick scoping and phase and like YouTube
Yeah,
montages. So I had the best of both worlds. I used to watch both.
yeah,
And the beauty of being a graphic designer is that you could network and be kind of useful in both areas because like everyone wanted graphics. So I used to like work with some sniping teams and trick shotters and montage peoples and chat to editors and stuff. And then on the other side, I'd be working with like Deserto players and game battles players. So yeah, I used to like bridge across the two. But now it's all just like one thing. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
God team.
yeah. No, exactly. So like you say, the graphics. Did you have sort of an interest in graphic design before sort of getting into it all, or was it just like you say, just to sort of make the page yourself? You wanted
Um,
to make it look clean, or
not to be honest, man. I was like 11, 12 when I got into it, so I didn't
mm,
really have an interest like per se. But as I was doing it, I like grew an interest and started,
yeah,
finding my enjoyment for it and getting passionate about it. But I don't know. I guess I'm like a little bit creative. I used to like drawing when I was younger. Not like I wasn't very good, but do you know what I mean? I think graphics is one of those things where you can try
yeah,
and express your creativity a bit. So that's why it's like it then got to a stage where I didn't even like doing it for myself. I never really did it for myself. I'd always just want to do it for other people. And then when I was like 16, 17, people were like, oh, can I pay you to do it? Like, I was like, oh shit, like people actually want to pay for this?
yeah,
So I was like, cool, all right. And then started getting some money off it. But I never did it for money. Like I never gamed for money or it was always just passion driven. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah, just went with it really.
yeah. I think you can always tell though with people's graphics if they are, especially with a designer, if they are sort of money driven,
Hmm.
because you don't see that the sort of the creative side of it.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Whereas, like you say, yourself, you've got that sort of creativity behind it, and money's not really the reason why. It's always
Mhm.
good though to obviously collect a bit of cash at the end of the job.
Yeah, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
so let's go into Team Delirium. So let's go right back to the start for there as well. So obviously yourself as a founder, when did it all begin?
Um, like I said, I always wanted a team when I was young. I mean, like I made a few teams and like orgs, but I was very sort of Call of Duty focused. And
Mm,
as I was getting older, getting like more able to maybe do it, Call of Duty was getting bigger and more expensive. So it was like an uphill battle really. Um, but I made Delirium initially in 2017. I was playing H1Z1 a lot. I sort of didn't play COD too much, just like the occasional GB or you know what I mean. So I just went over to H1Z1, played with some friends over there, and we wanted to make a little team just of ourselves. So we made one,
mm,
and we had a few different names, and then we settled for we made Delirium. I came up with the name, and we had a little gang, and we then I was thinking, yeah, the team name's quite good. Let's try and make it into like a bit more than just a friendship team. Let's try and make it a bit of like an organization maybe. So with that being said, there was a DreamHack event coming up and we picked up to Foxy, who's a European Halo pro. He's actually I just seen the other day. He's actually in Navi now because the new Halo's dropped, and he's in Navi, which is sick. But he was doing really well on H1 at the time, so we picked him up. And we sent him to DreamHack. I want to say it was Atlanta. It might have been I don't know. It was one of the American states. And he was playing against like Ninja, Tifu, Symphony,
mm.
all the big dogs. He didn't like respectfully. He didn't do very well. Like it's just one of those things, isn't it? So that happened.
Yeah,
But he was really good though. But it just what battle royales are like. They can go against you.
yeah,
So that
exactly.
happened. Um, and then from there, I don't know. H1 sort of died. The team sort of came to an end in like 2017. It was very like short lived, a few months.
Mm,
And then yeah, that was that. And then a year later, I want to say like the start of 2019. So like one of my longest online friends is Ghoul, who I own Delirium with now. He used to be called Slum back in the day. He was our God 4 player.
mm,
And we used to always keep in touch. And he did for some reason he was over in the Fortnite scene at this time. He was playing Fortnite and he was in a team over there. And he came to me and said, "Yo, like we should make a team of our own. Obviously, you have always wanted to make your own team. You have like the graphics ability. You can make the team look decent. I want to be in this Fortnite space. It's like the next big thing. It's very much like the current day. How back in the day there was like the Modern Warfare 2 sniping era of like FaZe Clan and Optic Obey, all like that passionate sort of
mm.
underground youth who wanted to come up and be in teams. That was what was happening in Fortnite. It was very engaging. All young like teenagers who were really like putting in the effort and wanting to like do well. And the clout was there, bro. Like people were actually getting quite big off Fortnite. So he was like, let's make our own team. I've seen these teams that are doing well over here now. They're run by kids and
Mm.
they don't know what they're doing. So I think if we give it a stab, we could do well. So I was like, cool, let's do it. Like, fuck it, I got nothing better to do at the minute. So we made it, and he was like, "Oh, what name should we do?" Like, and I was like, "Do you know what? Like, I made a team like a year or so ago called Delirium. I really like the branding and stuff, so let's just run with that." And he was like, "Cool, let's do it. I like it." So then we kickstarted Delirium there in Fortnite, and yeah, it did really well. Like, I got a shout at him though, and our other owner who came in later called Liquid, who was like Fortnite based. Because like, although I liked Fortnite just as much as the next man, I didn't really grind it too much. Like, my passion was always COD. So
Mm.
came a time where Fortnite was really blowing, and those guys were just like smashing it, and I was just helping out where I could, just doing the brand and the graphics. That was like a solid year, I want to say. Yeah, like 10 to 12 months. And we got quite big, quite known. Had like some really big Fortnite creators who went on to some of which now are in like TSM, other big orgs as well.
Mm.
One was like a Phase 5 finalist. So Fortnite had the talent, and we were like a stepping stone team. A lot of like kids would come in,
Yeah.
blow up under us, and then leave onto like bigger, better teams, which is cool. And then Warzone came out, got into Warzone, and yeah, the rest was history, really.
Yeah, because I know there was like that sort of 6 months to a year of where Fortnite was literally like everyone's sole focus.
Yeah.
It was huge, and I think they were sort of the first like big money tournaments. Weren't there? There was that was it that 4 mil one that Boogle won?
Oh yeah. The World Cup.
Yeah, there was those sorts of big tournaments. And they were like the first sort of ones in the scene, weren't they? And then obviously Warzone came out and followed suit.
Yeah.
But do you think that was what gave you like the sort of the push you needed to kind of get Delirium back started again, and get the passion back to sort of make them a top team?
Definitely. The thing with Fortnite it was free, and the scene was just like untapped. It was so raw and so sort of all it needed was someone to come in and just take over, or just like there was just so much to benefit from it. Things like COD were really saturated, and like, you know, what was this, 2019? There's no way I could have got into COD at like a high level before Warzone. I'm talking like Respawn and like LAN in 2019 with no funding. It just wouldn't have happened. We could have got like a really shit team and would have been way more work than what it was worth. But Fortnite was just a golden opportunity, man. All these kids were really hungry. They're content creators, so they'd come on every day and they'd just be grinding and doing YouTube, and their clout was crazy. I remember before we actually made the team, I joined the team he was in for like a week because he was like, "Come join this team and see how passionate this scene is and how like we can, you know, capitalize off this." I joined the team. I did like a really average graphic, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you should tweet that out." So I tweeted it out, and it got like hundreds of likes, and they were all gassing it up crazily. Not that like likes really determine anything, but it's just the engagement I saw from such young kids and how passionate and, you know, engaging they were when it came to like social media and all that stuff. It was like, yeah, like if we made a team, I think the numbers, because, you know, numbers don't lie, man. When you're approaching sponsors or whatever investment, if you've got the numbers to back it and the social media presence, that's like the golden ticket. So I felt there was so much to be taken from Fortnite. So yeah, Fortnite definitely helped us get established, and then I just knew it was a matter of time. By the time we capitalized maximum of Fortnite, we'd be set to go into any other realm we wanted to, if that be COD or any other game, which yeah, we're slowly starting to do.
No, it's clear just by the way you know that you speak and you hold yourself that you know you have that sort of level head, to sort of keep an organisation in the right path, and not jump to you know situations because like you say you could have just jumped into the COD scene, you know, and gone right, you know, take a team to LAN in it and you know they're not doing very well, and then it's like a lot like you said yourself, a hell of a lot more work than what's needed.
Yeah,
So I think by the sounds of it, you picked the right sort of time to jump into Fortnite, and then like you say,
yeah,
branch out to other games.
yeah, definitely.
But like you said, you've got Warzone. So do you want to go to sort of the start of Warzone? Was it something from right at the start of Warzone where you sort of were like, yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to get people involved in Warzone.
I mean, the second it came, yeah, I mean, the second it dropped, I knew that this was gonna be our pathway into COD if we wanted to get into it.
Mm.
And you know, it was at the start of lockdown, wasn't it? In the first in 2020, in the first lockdown.
Yeah,
So it was just like really good timing for me because I was working full time at the time, and then I was working from home. So a lot of my time was at home, and then COD came out, and it was taking over the internet and the gaming scene, and it was free to play, and there's all these big tournaments and all these big creators coming into it. So I thought, yeah, like we should definitely try and get into this. Let's just try and figure out how. And luckily for us, our first person we had in Delirium Warzone side was Angelica, because she was already in Delirium, because at the time before Warzone she was playing Fortnite, and I've known
yeah,
Angelica for like a few years just through the European sort of S&D GB scene. Shout out to her and like obviously Saudi and stuff. So I knew of those guys, and she was just in the team just doing Fortnite YouTube and stuff casually as like a mate. And then when Warzone came out, we were sort of looking at it, saying to each other we wanted to get into it, and then she came to me and said, "Oh, I really want to get into Warzone and start streaming that now. Would it still be okay if I stayed in the team doing that?" And we were like, "Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because we kind of want to get into that angle. So yeah, for sure, she was doing that. Then she got into Warzone and she was doing really well. And then a few weeks or like a month or so later, maybe I don't know, a few months later, Vapula, who I've known for many years as well, hadn't spoke to him in like 3 or 4 years maybe. He just reappeared on the scene, and the first I saw of him, he was playing in a big tournament with Vicstar, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what's a bit mad? And then I reached out to him and he's like, oh, yo, Smurf, I haven't spoke to you in ages. Like, what's good? And I was like, yeah, man, like, what's good? Like, I see you're playing Warzone now, doing well for yourself, streaming and stuff. He was like, yeah, like, I'm in a team, but like, I like your team, like, get me in. I was like, all right. So I just got him in. So got him in the team from there, and then early doors we had Angelica and Vap in our team. Just that's like the foundations. They were both doing really well, and then from there got Louis CM and Lennon, and then Scumman. So yeah, man, it was just like a gradual thing. It was just just rolling with it and seeing where it goes. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what the next map's saying, which is out soon, and what we can do there. But yeah, that was sort of the history of Warzone for us.
Yeah, and like you said, those players, individuals, sorts of their streams obviously throughout Warzone have blown up over sort of like the last year and a half. Do you think that sort of benefited you guys with them, getting to a stage where they are blowing up, being under sort of your brand, because obviously representing them, sort of day in day out, your brand will get recognised and things like
Yeah,
that. So do you think it was a really like sort of benefit
yeah,
from you
definitely,
guys at Delirium?
100%. Um, obviously the guys aren't here anymore. They've gone on to do other things, but I'll always say and I'll always be so grateful for what they did for the team. For free. They were in the brand. There was no contracts or anything. There was just like a mutual agreement. We were all friends, and they knew I wanted to grow a brand, and I knew they wanted to grow as themselves. And we were just it was you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If they ever needed help with anything, I'll try and do it to the best of my ability, and vice versa. But yeah, no, definitely, they definitely helped Delirium grow. We got a lot of fans through Warzone and stuff, and just subtle things like them playing together and winning tournaments and rocking the clan tag, and just people seeing it. There'd be times where I'd be playing with like my IRL friends rocking the clan tag, and like people would recognize us in game and stuff, and you'd hear it in the Defcon like, oh, it's Delirium and stuff, and it's just like me and my mates, we're pretty average, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, they definitely got us the awareness, which is that was the goal. And yeah, I appreciate it from those guys.
No, of course. And like you said, a new map. Sort of is that your sort of goal to continue to obviously follow Warzone to see how obviously the new map is, and sort of go from there, or have you got any sorts of future plans to expand to other games as well, or?
Um, yeah, we've got a few plans. We definitely obviously want to get into Warzone again. I mean, the only player we have currently is Scumman, who's obviously like twisted, and he's just a beast anyway. But no, we definitely want to pick up some more European talent going into the new map. The first map was nice. It gave us a bit of an understanding and learnt the ropes, and helped us study who was up and coming and tournament formats, and how we could benefit, how we couldn't benefit. So it was definitely like a learning curve and very educational for us. And I think now, knowing what we know now going into the new map, I think we'll be able to do the same again, if not a little bit better. And just with the way the team's growing, obviously the team's like doubled, I think even maybe tripled in size since we were in Warzone. So that's not due to Warzone primarily, obviously that's due to like Fortnite and other stuff as well, like streamers and XYZ. But yeah, man, we definitely have plans to just continue growing on Warzone, content creation, getting some streamers involved, and then when it comes to other games, yeah, we've got our eyes on Halo at the minute, and Vanguard. I want to see what the season's saying when it comes to challenges, and if it's worth getting into. If it makes sense and it's beneficial for us, then we'll give it a go. But if something's not beneficial and it's just like a waste of time, then we just won't even risk it really.
Yeah, I think like you said, if sort of lands and things like that come about again, it does make sort of sense for a team like yourselves, and the teams to sort of be invested in challenges,
Yeah,
because then obviously the brand is being, shown off to other people. You're having that exposure, whereas like it has been the past years, online, there's no sorts of, especially when there's no streams from
exactly.
the Call of Duty side of things. From an org perspective, I can imagine that's sort of hard to justify.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like respectfully,
putting in.
why would I want to pay a mid-tier challengers team to But when the main viewership's not even on challenges, it's on Warzone, and I can get like really good Warzone players for free. Do you know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
does. It's really imbalanced. So yeah, like I said, if it makes sense and we we have the funds or we have the infrastructure to support a challengers team, and challengers is worth getting into if the game's doing well and there's viewership there and it's beneficial for the brand, then we'll definitely consider it. Um, but yeah, if not, I think we'll definitely stick at Warzone. And also we have like we have a Call of Duty channel that it's just like a casual sort of COD community fan base that because there's like this whole sort of fan base of casual like rebirth players and like Modern Warfare / Vanguard S&D, and we have like YouTubers who do that stuff. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of viewership in that. Like Face Swag has reacted to like a few of our players over it on his YouTube channel, and we like you will get recognized in game if you rock the clan tag if you're playing Rebirth or Vanguard S&D or something in like America. So our fan base is really sort of spread out in loads of different areas, loads of different demographics. So just going to continue to strengthen that in like the next year or so.
Yeah, exactly. Um, One thing that find quite interesting is the way that sort of your mindset is in terms of like you say, being the founder and having multiple people help you at that sort of top level of the org, and just the planning ahead, and things like that. Getting everything in motion. It's such a crazy thing to sort of sit here and listen to that, especially with someone like myself who has no idea. If you chuck me right in at the deep end, I would literally have no idea what I was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
doing. So do you want to talk about just sort of like how the management side of things work within the org, your sort of day to day with the org, so like the viewers can kind of get a bit more of an understanding of what you sort of do day to day?
Yeah, for sure. Um, Off the bat, there's no secret formula or any sort of. For me as well, man. Like, I've never really run a business or an org myself, so it's really just going with the flow and just trying to figure things out. One thing I will say is just it's really where I feel Delirium's been successful in comparison to teams I've made in the past that haven't been. Is in the past I was trying to do everything myself, be like a one man army. It's like a CEO or like an owner, and it got quite taxing to like be a designer, like try and manage this team, manage social media, do this, that, and the other. It's a big job. It's like a business, although you may not think so in terms of like you're not making money off the bat. But Delirium, we had the infrastructure from day one. Like we had myself, my good friend Gul, who we kickstarted the team, and what I'd be doing on a day-to-day basis and what he'd be doing are very different. We may not even speak for like a day, but we'd come back and say, "Yo, I've done this today. I've been looking into this player in this game," and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm chatting to these people in this game, and I've got a content idea to do over here," and then he'd sort that out, and he'd reach out to editors. So it's just many hands make light work. The more people you have helping you out and trying to work towards that final thing, it's definitely helpful. And
Mm.
then as the team grows, you can get management in and more designers. And I'm really fussy because as a designer, there's like a certain way I want the brand to look, which is a bit biased and stuff. But so I do the designs still for the brand, but hopefully there'll come a day where I can just sit back and let someone else do it, and I'll be like content with that. Because there have been times where we've had other designers in, and respectfully, they've done things that I'm just not really too keen on, and it's gone out on their team page, and I'm just like, oh, why did that go out? Like, I'd rather do this way, and it's like, yeah, we get it. But day to day, man, I mean, at the moment, it's a bit stale. It's very much just researching, bro. Just like I always say, don't try and compare yourself to other people too much, but at the same time, like you do need to be aware of like what scene's doing what, and
Yeah.
just staying current with the times and not falling behind, and just adapting and moving on. So like when I got into Warzone, like my boy Gul, who I own it with, he wasn't too keen on the idea off the bat because it would have affected our Fortnite demographic, because it was a purely Fortnite orientated team. To just come and draw
Yeah.
Warzone into it threw a lot of fans off. But so it needed to make sense. So we planted the seed of Angelica and Vatplayer quite early on, then let it grow. Then when we started seeing results, then we presented it to the fan base. Because if we just went into a new game today, picked up a team, and marketed them, shared them on social media, got all of our fans to support them, and then within a week they'd split or they didn't do very well and we got rid of them, it's just quite embarrassing. Not embarrassing, but it's just quite it's a bit silly to do that. So we just thought it'd make sense to take things slow. So if we do want to get into a new game now, it will be very sort of behind the scenes. We'll be studying, having conversations, making sure everything's right before we sort of announce it or go into it. So yeah, that's what I can say on that. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, man, you just got to really do something you enjoy. for me in like 2019, when it was purely the Fortnite stuff, like I said, I wasn't doing as much because I wasn't too passionate about Fortnite. I was passionate about the brand and where it was going, but
Yeah.
the game itself, I wouldn't in my free time watch Fortnite or really keep up to it. I would just only keep up with what the team was doing. But with COD, like I keep up to date with COD, always have been into COD, and like FPS esports like Halo and stuff. So yeah, man, that's what I can say on that. Really, just do something you enjoy, and just each day, just make sure you're doing a little something, even if it's, I'll be honest, I don't sit there 9 to 5 and grind like a full day's work, but maybe when I jump off this podcast, I may see something and do a bit of research for a few hours tonight, and then note it down. And when I jump in call tomorrow with someone, I'll say, yo, like we should do this, that, and the other. And it's just keep your eyes out, man. Just keep studying and keep learning. That's my advice.
Yeah. So would you say that sort of the majority then is your research to make sure, like you say, that you're up to date, you've not missed anything. You're like you say, your graphics yourself. It's always good to, like you say, I even said to you before the podcast, I was very picky myself.
Yeah.
And I can tell that you're the same. But when it's your own brand and when it's your thing that you want to show off on that socials, for example, you don't want it to be any other way. You have that image in your head,
Exactly.
and you want it perfect. But yeah, would you say sort of that it's like the research side of things that is the majority of your time?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, everything goes hand in hand. Like no one makes a decision other than me and Ghoul. People come to us and they'll say, "Yo, we've got this," and I don't know, man. It's like running a team. When I always envisioned running a team or an org, my blueprints and sort of formulas were always European organizations. So as a youngster, it was like Epsilon or TCM or COD teams. And I always envisioned as like a younger guy to be like, okay, if I ever do make it, I'll be waking up and I'll be managing a COD team and watching the COD events, and that'll be kind of it, and doing like the behind the scenes stuff a little bit, and that'll be it. But with Delirium, it's like we manage, like not everyone in our team even knows each other. Like it's so big. We have over 100 people in the team across like the world in different games, different time zones, different age demographics. So we have like people who stream Valorant, we have the Warzone players, we have the mainstream COD players, our Fortnite guys. We have like a COD snipe inside now. So it is like managing like multiple teams within one brand. It's like you've got to oversee it. So from one day to the next, depending on what's current and what's going on, I could be in a call with someone working on a sniping montage with one guy, and then the next day I could be in a call with like a director talking to a brand, and then the next day in a call with someone else chat to someone about a Fortnite video or something like that. Do you know? It's very different from day to day. But for me personally, yeah, I do like I try to keep myself involved in what I'm passionate about. So like COD and other FPSs and Twitch. I'm really into Twitch, man. I think Twitch is the future. It is the future. Like people know that. But when it comes to Delirium, I really want to build a solid a Twitch infrastructure and like a stream team, which is something we're trying to do day to day. But yeah, man, research is important, and yeah, maybe is what I do mostly, apart from just like the boring behind the scenes stuff, like chatting to brands and trying to, you know what I'm saying, seek investment and stuff, which is a whole other ball game. But yeah, man.
Yeah, no, that sounds, like I say, it all just, it would go straight over my head if I was thrown into the deep end. So it's incredible what you guys do to build such a brand that you have, and to build it up, like you say, throughout the years, coming from Fortnite and then expanding onto all these different games.
Yeah, for sure.
It's incredible. So we'll go on to sort of the final couple of questions now for you. So this is going back to yourself. So what was the best content moment you've had to date, whether that be through any of your social medias or from sort of like, we'll say from when like you've uploaded a graphic and it's just gone crazy, or when you've uploaded a video and it's just gone, crazy?
Graphic wise, I'm not too sure. I mean, there's been a few just making things for pros and they've just like acknowledged it, and then I mean that was quite cool. But for me personally, I guess maybe if this counts, when I competed on stream in both of Optic Hitch's Modern Warfare 2 throwback tournaments, because obviously like Modern Warfare 2 is just like my fave game, as like a lot of people know. So I used to put a lot of time into that. Even there was like a Modern Warfare 2 community like in like the recent 5 years of like Europeans and NAs that would actually play like scrims and wages and stuff and eights. So I played Mod 2 a lot, and obviously Optic Hitch, he's a real big Mod 2 fan, so he would come and host these throwback tournaments. He did one in 2016 and one in 2017.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was the only European to be in both because I was captain of the team in both. Luckily, because I just knew him through doing graphics and stuff. So slid into the DMs and was like, "Yo, like I love Mod 2. Can I get a team?" And he's like, "Yeah, cool." So yeah, played in one of them with like a few guys, and we beat. We did get railed because it was on like West Coast host at like 2 a.m. playing like pro. It was playing like what I'm saying, pros. Regardless of if they've played the game recently or not, if you're going up against Scump on West Coast, it's hard.
Yeah.
But we did snag at S&D against the Optic team. It wasn't even Optic, it was Scump, Crim, Clay, and Aches. We beat those guys in S&D. That was quite a nice moment. And then the following year we beat like Dashi, TJ Haley, Blastful, and someone else in S&D. But no, those tournaments were really fun, man. They were like for charity and stuff, and shout out to Scuff for hosting those. But they were probably some of the funnest content moments I've been a part of because I knew a lot of people on Twitter were like, "What the fuck? Like, why is Smurfy and his boys in this tournament with all these pros? Like, how has that happened?" You know what I mean? And in the second one, we did actually get third. We got third out of like 16 teams.
That's crazy.
But yeah, man, and that was fun. That was fun. Even though in the respawns I got dealt with, but it was fun, man.
No, but like you say, to just have that opportunity alone is crazy. Like,
For sure.
being a part, like you say, with some of those names, you've got like you say, Scum, Crimsix, Clay, those sorts of people. Back in the day as well, sorts of 2016, 2017, even the Aches, they were like, at the top of the game.
Yeah, man, it was sweaty stuff.
Yeah, I can't imagine that being fun at 2 a.m.
Well, that's how we actually lost
West
eventually
Coast.
because we got through to the winners finals or something, and we've been up since like just normal European time. And the winners, we were waiting for the semi-finals or the finals or something, and it was getting to like 5 a.m. And they were like, "Yeah, you've got to wait for this team to finish their series." It was like the guys who won it versus like another pro team, and we were just in call like dying, like guys like we're falling asleep. They're gonna slam us anyway, we believe. So we may as well just give them the win and just take third place. So, yeah, that's what we did. But nah, it was fun, man.
So we've gone to, like I say, the two final questions for you. So the first one is the best person that you've worked with within the scene, and why?
Tough one. I've worked with a lot of people, man, over the years, in different stages of their career as well. I mean, from a youngster, I was making graphics for like Tommy and like Madcat and like pros and that when I was like 12, 13, and they were just like nowhere near how big they are today. But like I've got that relationship with those guys. All the European pros are pretty blessed that I chat to and stuff, and yeah, I think that they're nice people to work with, man. Growing up with those guys, but in terms of like clout, I guess, or like, well, I suppose nicest. Apathy was really cool to work with when I did some graphics for him. He was really nice in DMs. Because some people you work with, regardless of like their status or their following or whatever, like some are a bit, you can just tell some are a bit egotistical or a bit just like tricky to chat to. Whereas some are just like really humble and really nice. So Apathy was really cool. He was a nice guy. We used to have a bit of banter in the DMs. Big Timer from Optic, I'd really think he'd be a hard guy to chat to, but he was actually really chill. He like overpaid me for projects and was like really generous and just really like chill. The nature was cool. It sounds like I'm name dropping here, but I'm just thinking of like big people that I've, because some pros do take like some. I won't name some pros or like big careers, but some are just like not cool. And like I'm chatting to them in DMs, and I'm just like, I'm not really enjoying this. Like I probably won't work with these again because, like I said, I don't do it for the money. I do it for just like the opportunity or just to like enjoy it. But nature was quite chill. He was like quite humorous. Would always like crack jokes in DMs. Like ripping my mate who also did graphics. But that was before 100 Thieves. That was like 2015. No, I think it was when he just made 100 Thieves, like 2015, 2016. But yeah, in the gaming scene, I guess that's it. Just probably like a streamer or something. They're pretty chill.
Okay. And if you could work with one person, obviously that you haven't already, who would it be and why?
It's a tough one. In what capacity? Do you mean just design for them or actually work with them on like anything?
Yeah, in whatever sort of in whatever concept, whether that's graphics, whether that's bringing them under Delirium, whether that's working on other content with them, in sort of a collab or anything like that.
I'd like to personally work and speak with Optic Hex, I think, because I make a few of his thumbnails. I don't think he even realizes that I speak with his assistant, and I do a lot of his thumbnails for his podcast channel.
Yeah.
But I think Hex is he's just got the right mindset. I feel when it comes to just like the content and gaming, and that's like a big formula that I like to sort of try and replicate. With Delirium is Optic Gaming, man. I think they're a really solid brand. Obviously, FaZe are incredible as well. 100 Thieves, they're all great teams, but I think Optic's really a lot more organic and just sort of self-sufficient.
Yeah.
So I'd love to collaborate with him on some capacity, whether that be like I don't know, Delirium Optic collab or like merch, or maybe we
Yeah.
go to the States and play. I don't know. It's weird because like I've spoken to and speak with like a lot of people in Optic, and he's like one of the only ones I haven't actually had a direct convo with. But I know he's like, I don't think he's unobtainable, but and even like Scumman, who's in our team, he's really cool with like Karma and like a lot of the Optic guys, and he's in Texas and he plays with them sometimes. So yeah, man, I think it'd be cool to get on his radar and do something someday, hopefully.
Yeah. Mad. Right. So obviously we do a surprise question at the end
Okay.
of every podcast, just for a bit of fun to sort of end um on a bit of a different note.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're stuck on an island. You get to pick one person to take with you, and 3 items.
Okay. Person. That's a tough one, man. That's really tough. You can't decide that off the dome, man. That's, you got to have some serious consideration when it comes to that. I mean, I'm gonna keep it PG, so I'll go for Oh, man, that's tough. Who would I take? I feel anyone would get really annoying after a while. Do you know what I mean? Like I think there's no one
Yeah.
who would be perfect to take. I'll tell you though. I'll tell you. He's in the chat right now. I'll take Big Alan. He's in the chat right now because he's got a really infectious laughter. He's a nice lad, and I think he'd give me entertainment throughout my last days on the island. 3 items though. I don't know. I'm assuming they can't be electrical or anything like that. Or can they? I don't
No,
know.
you can take. I mean, I've had people say they'll take a setup. I've had people say they're going to take, the double bed. I've heard people say they're going to take samurai swords. I've heard all sorts. So
Samurai
far
sword.
away.
Oof. Let me think, man. All right, cool. I'd take. I think it's a cop out saying your whole setup though. That's like, do you know what I mean? It's gonna be you
Yeah.
on a desert island, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no Wi-Fi or anything out there. Okay, I'll take. I'm trying to overthink this really practically. Maybe like a fridge or like a slow cooker or something, just for survival purposes. One piece of like
Yeah.
equipment so we can store food or prepare food. I think that's quite smart, regardless
Yeah.
if we can plug it in or not. Hopefully, we can actually use it. I think a kettle would be a good one. Okay, we'll go for. I don't know. Go for like a fridge maybe, or like we'll go for like a slow cooker or something to like
Yeah.
prepare food, or like an oven, something like that. Secondly, something entertainment based. So like, I think any book, you can't really have one book. Maybe the Bible. Nah, that's dead. Maybe like addiction. Nah, I don't know, man. I'll take a pen and paper. Can that count as one, or is that two?
Yeah. No, go on. Pen and
We'll
paper.
do a pen and paper so I can write some memoirs, maybe draw a little bit. I know Alan likes to write some bars, so that'll keep him occupied. I'll make him up some crosswords or something. And then thirdly, actually no, obviously I'll take some sort of music device, whether it's like a phone I could play music off, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, I need music in my life, so yeah. As long as I've got music, pen and paper, and a fridge or something, yeah, we'll go for those three.
There you go. So you got fridge, pen and paper. You've got Alan, and what was the last one?
Some form of music device, whether it's
Some
like
form of music. There we
let's,
go.
let's say an iPhone and some AirPods or something, and a charger.
Yeah. We'll let you take a little split off so that obviously Alan can listen to the tunes as well.
Yeah,
Don't want him, missing out.
definitely not, man.
No, but really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me,
Apologies
man.
chucking you in at the deep end with the last question.
No, I love it.
It's always good to catch people out right at the end of the
Yeah, it's
podcast.
good.
No, honestly, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's been a long time coming.
Pleasure, man.
And it was obviously meant to be yesterday, but we had to change the dates. And I really appreciate you, sort of accommodating that. Been unbelievable insight on sort of how an organisation would work from sort of the inside, and getting a real insight there. So again, really appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate it, man.
we will be uploading this onto YouTube, everybody, wherever you're watching it from, and all of Smurfy's, all of the socials for Smurfy will be on there. For Team Delirium will be on there. Make sure you go show them all love, and drop follows and things like that for you guys. But again, appreciate listening, guys. Thank you very much. Peace.
Thank you guys. Peace out.